Okay, this is some seriously rare footage of Bruce Lee showing the world what a real fight is supposed to look like. This was filmed way back in 1967 at the Long Beach International Karate Tournament. Think about that for a second, that's 58 years ago. Bruce was just 26 years old, and this was actually his second time getting invited to the event. The first time was in 1964, when he showed off his Wing Chun punching. And hey, watch closely here, that guy holding the microphone for Bruce? That's Jun Rhee, the man they call the father of American Taekwondo. Kind of a big deal. Here's the thing that gets me. Both the 64 and 67 tournaments were packed with the biggest karate champions of that whole era. We're talking Chuck Norris, Mike Stone, Joe Louis. So let's be real. If Bruce Lee was faking it, if he was all flash and no substance, these guys would have been the first ones to call him out. And they didn't. He kicks things off with two-finger push-ups. And look, this isn't just about having crazy strong fingers. It takes an insane amount of core strength and control to pull this off. Sure, you'll find people today who can attempt two-finger push-ups, but watch what Bruce is doing. His fingers stay perfectly straight. His body stays dead level with the floor the entire time. How many people can actually do it like that? Not many, I'll tell you that. You can see the karate crowd is just floored, and as the camera pulls back, check it out. Every single seat in that place is full, not one empty spot. Next up, Bruce stands center stage to explain what Chinese Kung Fu actually is and how it works in a real fight. And you've got to remember, 58 years ago, almost nobody in the West had even heard the word Kung Fu. It was a total mystery. He tells the crowd that if you truly master Kung Fu, you could take somebody down, even blindfolded. And honestly, a lot of folks in that room had no clue what he was getting at. So to prove it, he brings his student Taky Kimura up on stage. Bruce blindfolds himself and starts sparring. Now, Taky was a trained karate guy before he ever met Bruce, and he couldn't lay a single finger on him. Blindfolded. Let that sink in. After the blindfold demo, World Karate Champion Vic Moore steps up. And Vic came to test him. He wanted to see if this Bruce Lee guy was the real deal or just hype. And Vic was no joke, by the way. 10th degree black belt, 4-time world champ. Basically the exact same energy as people today who go, Bruce Lee was just an actor. So Vic challenges him on speed, and Bruce doesn't even blink. He accepts, stands right there in front of a world champion, cool as anything, and lays out the rules. He's gonna throw a punch, and if Vic can so much as touch his hand, Bruce loses. Simple. But like this footage shows you, Vic couldn't touch him. Not the first time, not even the second. Wild. And watch Vic Moore's face after the drill. Doesn't it kind of look like this world champ walked away a believer? But that's not all. On top of the two-finger push-ups, the 1-inch punch, the 6-inch punch, the blindfolded sparring, and that speed challenge, Bruce also showed everyone what modern mixed martial arts should be. He told the crowd that fighters shouldn't box themselves into just one style. Instead, take what works from every art out there and make it your own. That right there became the whole philosophy behind his Jeet Kune Do. Then he strapped on some protective gear and showed the room what a real fight looks like. And honestly, this is the moment a lot of martial artists became convinced Bruce Lee was the godfather of modern MMA. I became a student of Bruce Lee back in 1964, and in 1967, he asked me to teach at his Chinatown school out in the Los Angeles area. I really treasured my time with Bruce. He taught me so many things. He taught me how to research, how to experiment, how to create research, experiment, and then develop something new out of it. And it was in that research that I picked up so much from him. Back then, most people only ever studied one style, but not Bruce. He wanted to learn everything. Sure, he was a Chinese martial artist, but he dug into the Korean arts, other Chinese arts, the Japanese arts, the Okinawan arts. He studied boxing, he studied fencing, he studied judo and grappling. And that's the part I loved about him. He was always researching, never stopped. There's an event coming up, the Bruce Lee exhibit down in Chinatown, and I really hope people come out for it. You know, there's never been a single day I haven't thought about Bruce. He's always right there in my mind. I feel so lucky to have been his student, and I'll cherish that time forever. I even had the privilege of teaching his son, Brandon Lee, and he was just like his dad. I'm heartbroken his life was cut so short, but I love teaching him too. When I was 18, I got into a fight that changed me for good. My opponent wasn't especially strong, wasn't especially skilled, but I was eaten up inside, full of anger, desperate to prove myself. And with all my training, all that physical prep, I won. But you know what? I felt like I'd lost. My technique was flawless, and yet the victory felt completely empty. I'd let my emotions run the show instead of running them myself. And here's the thing, every single day, millions of people live exactly the way I did back then. Physically capable, but locked up inside their own heads. Their minds are racing with doubt, fear, anger. They're out there fighting battles on the outside while a whole war's going on inside. I spent years studying the greatest fighters, figuring they'd hand me the secret to real power. But the real secret? It was in understanding this one thing. Your body can only do what your mind believes it can, and not one bit more. What I figured out is that mastering your mind isn't about crushing your thoughts or bottling up your emotions. It's about understanding them. Same way you'd understand the flow of energy in a fight. Think about it. When you square off against someone, tension makes you stiff. It makes you predictable. And life's no different. Your inner tension, that mental resistance, it blinds you to opportunities and makes you deaf to wisdom. You want to know why water is unstoppable? Because it's got no mind of its own. No preconceived notions about where it should or shouldn't go. It just is. And that's the state your mind has to reach. Water, my greatest teacher. In all those endless hours of training, I studied how it behaves. When it's still, it reflects reality, perfectly shows you the truth with zero distortion. When it moves, it adapts in a heartbeat. It never fights an obstacle head on, and yet it'll wear down the hardest stone. I remember one fight that drove this home for me. My opponent was bigger, heavier, and his attacks came down on me like a mountain. But instead of meeting force with force, I remembered the water. He struck high, I flowed low. He was rigid, so I got fluid. And it wasn't just my body, my mind became like water. You know, if you want the best example of Kung Fu, it'd be a glass of water. Why? Because water is the softest substance in the world, and yet it can cut through the hardest rock, granite, you name it. Water's also insubstantial. What I mean is, you can't grab hold of it, you can't punch it and hurt it. So that's what every Kung Fu man is trying to become: soft like water, flexible, adapting itself right to the opponent.